All right, welcome to another episode of Two Idiots Drink Vodka and Talk About Hockey. I'm Dan.
I'm Rhodes. And I guess this
Cheers,
is our.
buddy.
Well, cheers.
Yeah, fine. We always start with the cheers. I'm
Yeah,
swinging from the bottle today.
me too, man. It's Christmas. Fuck it.
Fucking Christmas. What are you gonna say though?
Oh, I was going to say cheers,
Oh, fucking
It's,
love these
it's our
cranberry
Christmas
ginger
episode.
ales. Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna keep it festive. What are you chasing your vodka with today?
Eggnog.
Fuck yeah.
Got it.
Chasing with some cranberry ginger ales.
All right. I guess cranberry's kind of festive for turkey.
Yeah, dude. These only come out around at Christmas time. I swear.
Yep.
For you, American listeners. Um, this is a delicacy up here in Canada.
Yeah. Well, so does the eggnog. I don't know if they do. Well, they must do eggnog. No, they definitely do eggnog
Yeah.
down there. It's an American thing. What am I talking about? It's Europe that they don't do eggnog.
No, eggnog's fucking. Yeah, I love eggnog. I love eggnogs. Actually, lately I had this
Oh, yeah.
eggnogs with a little bit of maple syrup in there.
Mm, nice.
Something good.
Nice. Yeah, so
Anyways, enough
should
about
we.
alcohol, I
Yeah,
guess.
nothing wrong with a little bit of alcohol. Um, I guess we should talk about what's going on with. I don't want to. I'll be honest. This whole Pettersson fucking Miller thing, but like it's. I think it's no secret that they don't like each other, right? Like that seems to be a fairly well known thing, but I don't know if there's
Oh
anything
yeah.
really there, right? It sounds like there's a weird vibe in the locker room, is what I think one reporter's saying. I
Well,
guess.
the thing that I hate about it is like Kim Boudreau often goes on What's His Nuts, their podcast, and obviously him being the coach of both of those guys in the past, um, has stated multiple times that there's obviously something between them. But the thing that
Mm,
I find interesting about the whole thing is they used to be the fucking lotto line,
yeah,
right? 649. You had Besser, Petey, and Miller, and they were like out. Like they were like our best. Obviously we were stacking the cards there, but they were a fucking awesome line. And then now all of a sudden, I don't want to play with you, or like Pockets trying to. I don't know. There's something going on there. At the end of the day, I think it starts with the coach when this kind of shit's happening.
yeah. It's weird to me. And then I know like some people are talking about the fact that they're not on the same like power play together. They're not going on the lines together. They weren't out there, I guess, when it was 3-on-3. I didn't really notice, but I guess they
I don't
haven't
think they
been out
really.
there
I
together.
don't.
But they're both centers. Like it kind of makes sense, and the power play was going pretty well when JT wasn't around, so it made sense not to put him on there. And then I don't
No,
know.
I totally agree. It's the problem is it's like if they were all just playing well, nobody would be talking about this shit. But it's
Well,
it's the fact that both of them are just kind of in a bit of a slump right now.
yeah.
Miller needed his mental reset. Clearly didn't do much.
Well,
Like,
and I think that's the fact that he's refusing to even talk about what it was. I think is part of what's spawning this as well, right? It makes people go into fucking rumor mode. Just like, well,
yeah, yeah,
let's ponder, let's
it's
figure it out.
very
Like,
true.
what's going on? Like, they gave
Oh
him the
yeah,
respect while he was away, but now that he comes, because normally guys come
oh
back
yeah,
and then they talk about it, right? And they say, "Oh, I was
yeah,
going through this or whatever," right?
totally. No, that's. I mean, every fucking YouTube investigator out here nowadays is
Yeah,
got their opinion on what's happening, and it's like just let him. I don't know. Here's my take on it. To be quite honest, they're both grown ass men that are making lots of fucking money. If they can't get along, make it a competition. See who's fucking better. Who's worth sticking around. Who's worth the next pay bump. Like I know Pettersson, we're locked in with him for a long time.
yep,
I don't know how many years we got left on Miller's very affordable contract. Um,
like another 6 or
but
something. But
yeah, they're both here. They're both locked in for a long fucking time.
yeah,
So it's just if one of them's got to go because they're both being fucking babies, why don't both of you guys just try and play your ass off to prove that you need to stay on the roster?
yeah,
I don't know. That's the only way to really go about it. If that's if there actually is a rift between them and a bit of fucking animosity.
yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there. I think that's exactly the way to go about it, right? Make it a competition. Otherwise, I don't know. Like, just, again, like you said, they're grown ass men. You can work with
Yeah,
people you don't like. That's fine. You can
yeah,
win
I fucking do it all
championships
the
with
time.
guys you don't like. Like, what was
Right?
it? It was
Yeah,
Jordan and Pippen, wasn't it? They weren't exactly friends, you know?
yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. End of the day, they'll fucking figure it out. They're both too good of players to like keep this from affecting their game for too long. But like, yeah, right now, definitely, you can see it. Like the Canucks, just like they're not. I don't know. Like it's strange because they are on separate lines, so you think they should just go out there and do their fucking job.
Yeah.
But like, there's yeah, obviously there's just that mental aspect of it because they're not able to play a full 60. It's like the last game here, they had a fucking atrocious first,
Yeah.
but Lankinen kept him in the game, and then they had a great second, went up 2-0, but then they fucking blew it.
Yeah. Well, and it's a similar story
Plain and
the
simple.
night before. I mean, actually, the night before it was worse. They were playing like shit the entire game. The only reason they were even in it was because Demko was just
Demko was
lights out.
standing on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily we got two stud goalies. Let's have a shot to that.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Cheers to that.
Mm-hmm. I know you wanted Lankinen so bad. I, I love that you dropped Bennington there. Now you're just sitting with one goalie in fantasy hockey.
Bennington's not playing any more games this week.
No, that's fair. And I think what they play 2 games next week, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I've been fucking having a hard time sleeping these days, and I just keep looking at stats and fucking team schedules and matchups, and I'm just like,
I think it's hilarious, man. It's like a second I do anything, like you're texting me within a couple minutes, like, holy fuck, Dan.
uh, yeah, sometimes I just need to get away from the family.
Fair enough.
That's my escape. No, I'm kidding. I love them. I love them. Kelsey, if you're listening, I love you.
Wow.
Uh,
It's a close week.
but yeah.
I think I've got a couple categories. The shots on goal, I'm doing pretty well, and same with the blocks, but it's pretty tight
Oh,
outside of
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you're smashing me in those. Definitely goals, assists, and hits are up for grabs. The plus minus, like I had you, and then literally the other night I went fucking -8. I'm like, ugh,
I
can't
don't.
wait till we get rid of that category.
Yeah, I'm definitely not keeping it next year. I don't think I've won a single plus minus matchup this year. I'm not
I
certain
think
that I
I've won.
have.
I think I've won one. Yeah, it's like it really like takes away. It really takes away the value of like good players on shitty teams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got guys like we're fucking killing it. Or like Toffoli's playing pretty well. Mind you, I think Toffoli, both those guys are pluses on their teams. But regardless, like it's yeah, you definitely get punished for like having guys on teams. Example here, Konecki, or however the fuck you pronounce his name, for Philly and
Connect me.
Sandheim. I have both of those. Konecki, thank you. I have both of those guys on Philly, and like there's some nights where I get like 2 goals and assists from Travis there, and then I'll get like 2 assists from Sandheim. So it's like great. And then there's other nights where it's like both guys went -3 on me, but they like still have peripherals, so they have value, but like just absolutely sewering that category.
Yeah. Yeah,
Man,
it's well, and it's because a lot of the guys that get points, a lot of them come on the power play too, right? So they're not really counting as pluses.
what's that? Sorry.
I said a lot of guys they get their points on the power play, right? So they don't really it doesn't count in that category. You don't get the pluses if
That's
you're
true.
scoring on the power play, right? It's only 5-on-5.
That's very true. Very true. And I mean, like, there's other leagues that, like, I mean, there's so many categories you can have with fantasy that even, like, that's one that I've seen is pretty common is the power play thing,
Yeah.
our goal. Yeah. So let's recap our fucking predictions from last week. I think I went 0 for 4 there.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, I can't even remember. Oh yeah, you got it up in front of you in Discord there. What did we each say?
Well, I had Boston 3-1. Or no, I had Canucks winning over Boston 3-1. You had them winning over Boston 3-2. Clearly that didn't
What was the
happen.
final in that again?
5-1 Boston.
Oh yeah. That's right. They got their fucking butthole spanked. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had them losing to Colorado 4-2. You had them beating Colorado 5-3, and they won 3-1. So I mean, you got the Canucks right that they were gonna win.
Yeah, I'll take the half point there.
Yeah, actually, you're close on Utah too. You had Utah winning 3-1. They beat them 3-2, and I had the Canucks beating Utah 3-2. So
Okay, another
close
half
there.
point.
And then same Vegas. You had Vegas winning 4-3, and I had Vegas winning 5-3, and they won 3-1. So we both got the team right, but scored not so much.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's
yeah.
it's weird, right? Like they win that game against the Panthers, they shut them out, and then they just throw out a fucking lemon against the Bruins, and then
Obviously,
like
lose there.
that Avalanche game, that was damn near a shutout, right? Like they're up 3-0, then
Oh,
Avalanche are pulling
you,
their goalie with 30 or a minute left in the game, like they're gonna score 3 goals in a minute, right? Just
yeah,
to
but
take
that's
that shutout away, right? That's all that was for.
pretty much, yeah. I mean, they could do it though, because I mean, fucking
Yeah.
McKinnon and Ratton, watch out.
Yeah. And then they throw a lemon against Utah. And then I don't know, last night, like they came out pretty good. They had a good start. Like they had one of their better starts, I think, against Vegas. But, you know, second night of back to backs, and it's typical. The team fades as the game goes on, right? And that's exactly what they did. And Vegas took over.
Yeah,
Right. It was a 2-1 game, and then they scored what in the last minute with the empty net or whatever it was. I
yeah. No, like Lankman basically helped keep them in that game as well, and like that seems to be the story in some of these games that we've lost or even won is just like luckily we got great goaltending that's keeping the game alive. But
Yeah.
like offensively, like who got the goals last night? It was like fucking Blue, like Heinen from Bluger,
The
and
last
then the
few
other one was like,
games, right? We only went beat the Avalanche because fucking Shergood got a hat trick.
oh, dude, again, can I just cream over that guy? Like, he's just, dude, he's like my fucking favorite. Like, he's honestly I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that he is the like waiver signing, like win of the season. Like for the Canucks, like he's been a fucking story, man. He's
I
great.
don't know, man. Lankinen's been pretty damn good too.
Who's that? Sorry.
I said Lankinen's been pretty damn good too.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Sorry, I guess we got two of them on our team, which is kind of wild.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, they've done a real other than the fucking defenseman Darnay. They did a good job with their signings over the summer. They really did.
yeah, no, I agree. Like is really coming to form. Like he's
He's
finally
he's
like I mean,
he's. I think he's been the biggest, like the highest producing player out of all the free agents. I think Gensel's maybe got one more goal or something than him. I'm not 100% sure, but
mhm.
like of the free agent signings, yeah, he's the biggest point producer. He's doing good, you know. So
Yeah. No, it's nothing to complain about. Like he did start off slow the season, but like, and it's funny because he did start off playing with Petey, and they just like, and then it's like once old Miller went away, they like reintroduced them, and they just like fucking went on a tear. I mean, like
yeah,
not to talk about that contrast between like when Miller was here and not, but I got to bring up one fact is like Pettersson during the time that Miller was gone for those 10 games amassed 14 points, which was eight. Like he scored
yeah,
points in 8 out of 10 games, amassing 14 points.
yeah,
And then since he's been back, he's got for what how many games he's been back now? He's got a fucking goose egg.
yeah, yeah. I thought he was
That's
turning a
that's
corner,
that's
man. I was
crazy.
really happy with Pettersson. I was like, he's locked to play every night now. But yeah, it's that's kind of the weird part of it, right? Like that is a weird thing.
Yeah, it's like it's super bizarre. Like to think that a guy can go from like 0 to 100 and back to zero, like again, like
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, but other than the game
I'll
against, what
figure.
was it, the game against Boston, like he hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been Pettersson, you know? Like, yeah, the game against Boston was brutal, but
That was I don't know. People are saying it was like the worst game they had all season, and like yeah, it's definitely up there.
oh yeah, I think so. From what I've seen, I haven't seen every game, but from what I've seen, yeah. Yeah, that game against Boston was, I'd rather not talk about. Yeah. But yeah, so coming up this week, we got Ottawa tomorrow, then we got the Sharks, got the Kraken, and then we got yeah. Oh, sorry, just the Senators and the Sharks. I was looking too far ahead. I was looking the following week.
Yeah, yeah, no. With Christmas coming up here, there's 3 days and no games. So yeah,
Yeah.
Canucks are only playing two. So sorry, you said it was Ottawa and Seattle.
No, San Jose.
Oh, fuck.
So
I'd hope they can win both of those games. Those are two games they should win.
yep.
Allmark's definitely been like lights out for the last bit here for Ottawa. It's like I kind of, I don't know. It's funny. I know nothing about either of the fucking players other than like I rostered Allmark in fantasy last season. So like for some odd reason, I just like I love him and I think Swayman's a bum. Like for literally no reason other than like Swayman was on like Quinton's team and I had Allmark. So like anytime we face off, I was just like fuck you. Um but yeah, no, like he's definitely been playing lights out for them lately. So it could be a tight matchup. I'm gonna say Canucks win that game. Let's go. Demko will be back in net. He's gonna have a great game. Let's go 2-1. It's gonna be close.
Two
And
one.
then yeah, 2-1, 2-1 win. Which I mean, sometimes Ottawa those games like can be just no defense, and it's high scoring. But I'm gonna both goalies are gonna play well. And then for the San Jose game, oh fuck, like San Jose, you just can't count them out this year. Like it's funny the corner they took from like last year, and even the start of this year. Start of this year, they were like, oh, everyone was like, oh fuck, here's San Jose again. Let's see if they can, make another record for like worst start to the season or whatever. But
Well, they didn't
yeah, they like
exactly
really start.
start well, right? But that
No, that's
Celebrini
what I
kid
mean.
was
But
injured too, right? He like the team goes if he goes. It's kind of crazy.
yeah, man, like I, I would argue that Celebrini is having a better rookie season than Bedard. I have to look at the fucking numbers, but just like I don't
It's
know.
it's close. It's close.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
like
think he's out.
given that he was injured for a stretch there. Mind you, Bedard was injured in his rookie season too, wasn't he?
Yep. And I'm hearing
Yeah.
rumbles Bedard's not exactly too happy in Chicago. He doesn't really like losing. Go figure.
Oh, fucking surprise, surprise. That's what happens when you get first
Drop
draft overall
drafted.
wanted to other team. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's up to you to make him
but
better.
yeah. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be a high scoring game against Seattle, but like I want to say we come out on top of it, and I'm gonna go 4-3. Ducks. I just like I hope like whatever bullshit they're dealing with, you know, next game they won't figure it out, but after the Christmas holidays, let everybody get a little bit drunk, let loose, come back, say sorry to each other, and just fucking go back to work.
Right? Yeah. It's weird to me, man. It's weird. So for those two games, what do I think? What do I think? Against Senators, they're at home. I mean, who can score on? Well, they got Line, man, right? No, Line's in Montreal.
Have another shot, Rosie.
All
Actually, it's been a while. Let's have another shot quick here before you make
right,
your predictions.
right. See if it affects my judgment at all, because I'm on such a roll. Well,
Once again, this episode brought to you by Vodka.
ooh, and Christmas
All
cheer.
right, what do you got? And Christmas cheer.
Um, I mean, I think they have to win. They should win. These are games you gotta win, right? You gotta beat Ottawa. You gotta beat San Jose. You gotta beat the teams that are below you. It's as simple as that. So, again, Demko in net. I don't I don't see the Senators getting more than one. The way Demko's turning his game on now. But it depends on what Canucks show up.
And that's what I'm saying. I personally don't think they're going to quite show up again next game, so he's going to fucking bail them up. Where'd you go?
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, no. I'm just thinking, and I'm thinking slow now. I'm gonna go. I I'm gonna go 3-1 for the Canucks. I think that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that they're gonna get that third goal. Could be an empty netter,
That, yeah.
but I think there'll be enough separation there. I think it'll be more than 2 goals or more. With the Sharks, I think again. I mean, I think Celebrini probably gets on the board. He's a isn't he a Vancouver kid too? Or I know they've drafted his other brother, his older brother, right? Aiden Celebrini is a Canucks pick. Um, and then I think he also played with like they're friends with Vilander as well down in Abbotsford.
Oh, yeah, yeah, you're right, man. North Vancouver. Yeah, I did
Yeah.
not know that.
So I think
Why
he
don't we
I think
just the Canucks
he's
should just get him and Bedard, and we'd be fucking set for the next 10 years.
right.
Anyway,
Oh man.
sorry.
So I'm gonna say he's gonna have a night. He's gonna get on the board, but I still think the Canucks need to win. I'm gonna say it's I'm gonna go with 4-2 for the Canucks.
4-2. All right.
Yeah.
I said 4-2. You said 4-2. All right.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Sounds realistic. Um, yeah.
I mean, it could be 7-4 for all I know. Right? Who knows? Depends what kind of
I know
goalie shows up for the Sharks.
it's kind of funny because I always tend to go like very conservative on the scoring, but you're right. Like, I mean, I honestly I wanted to say 5-4 and I said 4-3. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna say 5-4. I think it's gonna be just one of those fucking games.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna change it. 5-4.
All right.
So I got a question for you,
Okay.
and I feel like we just keep returning to the topic here, just because of recent rumblings on the fucking internet. Given the situation with Pettersson and Miller, and if they're if say there's an impasse and they're just like being real fucking crybabies and saying I don't want to play with the other guy, if you had a choice as GM, who would you keep out of those two guys in order to then build the team around, or like not build the team around because Quinn Hughes is the fucking heart and soul of the team, but like who do you keep if you have the choice?
I'd have to look at their contracts. I would think
Yeah,
first
pull
move
them up.
because I honestly think there's a few answers to this.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But if it was me, putting on my cooking hat, and it was something that they couldn't work out, right? It was something they couldn't work out, and something had to go. I would be looking to move.
Like I'm talking totally hypothetical.
Yeah. I'd probably move Miller first, and
Okay.
kind of see how that goes out. But then that's why I'd want to see the contract because I need to know how long it is till PD's not movable anymore. Because as much as I love PD, because as much as
Yeah.
much as I love Pettersson, there comes a point where if he continues to be like this, he's not worth that contract, and you got to look to move him. And
Yeah,
I'd rather do
that's-
that before his no trade kicks in. So that's where I don't know the inner workings of the trade limits on him.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I would
can
move.
come back-
I'd be looking to
we can
move.
come back to. Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say we can look into the details of it, like what's what the contracts look like in depth, but just totally like spitball and like, yeah, you're saying you try and move Miller first.
I would simply because of
Yeah.
his age, and because if anything, I think there might be better return for him right now. Hard to say, right? With taking that leave and everything. But then I'd be looking too. I'd be looking at Pettersson, right? The leash would be very short with Pettersson too to turn it on, right, and start proving yourself. I don't know that you win either of those trades, right? And that's the shitty thing because you need to capitalize on Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes is the cornerstone, right? He's what you win around. So
here's my thought around it. My thought is that actually I would move Pettersson, and simply for the fact that like I know Miller can be like fucking hot-headed, and I don't know the inner workings of the locker room. This is just like as a fan observing, But like, I feel like, though he can be hot headed, you kind of want a guy like that on your team. He kind of brings that energy some nights that like he really helps turn the game around. And at least last season, this season's been a little bit different, but like last season for sure, I seen there's some games where he carried the game on his shoulder. Yeah, like a fucking lights out, 4-point night or something. He hasn't really done that this season, but presuming he can again, because we got a little Swedish meatball that's rough. Um, you move on from PD because that's a big contract, and somebody that could take him. Somebody that could take him could potentially be a Chicago or a San Jose. And just hear me out. Like with that Vancouver connection, like obviously Bedard's always just jokingly expressed that he'd love to play for the Canucks.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
I no, I know that's like a pipe dream, and like same idea with like a Celebrini. But like if like you could somehow convince one of those teams that like, hey, no, PD's your guy, build your team around him because PD's still young. What's he fucking 24? Right? Like,
He's 20, he's 25, and so I just looked, and so yeah, next season is when his next contract kicks in, right? So he signed
yeah.
a
Okay.
he's still on his previous contract. It's next year when he's the $11 million man, and it's next
Yeah.
year
Okay.
is he has the first year. There is no clauses. They can still trade him. So
Yeah.
to me, the whole point of moving Miller is because to me Miller's a catalyst, right? And as much as I was pro keeping Miller over Horvat, there was the strife between them as well, right? He's that guy that I think he comes in for a short period. I don't know. It's almost like his ego's too big, and what I wonder is it bigger than Talkit, right? And it's
Yeah,
you
that's
hear
that's a
rumblings
fair
too,
point.
because there was a I think it was Jeff Patterson, right? I was listening to it, and they were talking, or maybe it was Sakaris and Price, but they were talking about last game, right, in Vegas, or maybe no,
Oh, with
sorry, it was the game before, and they were setting up for something that was on the power play or whatever,
well,
right? And Quinn
yeah,
Hughes goes over and like he's kind of they're calling the shots, right? I think JT said
yeah, he's
something, and then
yeah, he's
Quinn
he's
Hughes
he's the quarterback.
made a call, right? As a captain, he made a call for what the play was, and then you could actually see Miller like rolling his eyes or whatever, right? Like have an attitude.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't have that. You can't have that.
No, that's fair. That's
He's
fair.
not the
I mean,
captain.
I guess
Like as much as yeah,
no,
you're senior, your leadership on the team, you're not the captain, and you can't have an ego like that. So
no, and I agree with that. Like he does seem to have a little bit of a like, especially like since he's been playing well, and it kind of makes you wonder. Like he has that attitude about him, and like and it makes you wonder like because New York obviously moved on from him, even though he played well for them. Was there anything going on in that locker room too, where they were just like, you know what, this guy is a
well,
great bargaining
he's
chip,
he's a,
and
in fair credit to JT. He's talked about it about having that attitude and having that attitude when he came into the league in New York, and then having that attitude when he was in Tampa, and then he had to humble himself and get better at the game. But I don't think that attitude, he still is who he is, right? It's just his play's gotten better,
yeah,
so
yeah,
it gives you that you get a little more rain with it, right?
yeah, for sure. It's like when he's playing well, you're just it's sort of a I don't know, like I'm sure there's other examples in the league too, guys like that where it's like if the guy's playing well, but he can be kind of
Yeah,
difficult to play with, you give him a longer leash.
yeah.
But like the minute he starts playing like shit, you try and find a way to move him. So
Well, and that's it. And
yeah,
we've seen this before with Miller, right? And again, I love Miller when he's out there, and I do think he's part of he's a heart of the team. But there's a point where it becomes it's diminishing returns. And if
yeah,
that's
no,
where
I
that's where we're at, and I was the one in charge, that's where I'd be looking to make the move. And then like I said, and then it's a very short leash for Pettersson, because like okay, if that's not what's if that's not what's keeping you up, then you better start performing, right? And if you don't,
yeah, and
well,
like
then we're going to be looking at shopping you too, and it's going to be a good deal. It's going to be a setback, right? Because you're not replacing those guys one for one, right? You're just not.
oh for sure. For sure, like you would basically need to find a team that also has a player in the exact same position that's looking for a change. Like if like whatever hypothetically like a Gensel was like, hey, you know what, I don't really like it here or whatever. Like let's make that, and like the management just makes that swap one for one. But like you said, that's a fucking pipe dream.
Yeah.
Um, No,
Yeah,
you know what? My original stance was that you move on from Pettersson first. You know, maybe try and see if you can try and swing some young blood in instead. But like, you're right. I think the easier move is if Miller is the problem to move on from him because there are teams I would still love to have him. Like he's a fucking
yeah,
he hits he plays. The one thing that I'll say about Miller that fucking drives me nuts, and last season he had a few bad ones. The season before was even worse. Was this fucking lazy ass back check?
oh
There's
yeah,
so many times that I've seen where he is just like there's a fucking 2-on-1 to try and help your defenseman. He's just like, oh yeah, he's got this, and boom, they score. Like countless times I've seen him fucking just saunter off.
yeah,
And as of recent, these last few games, there's been like, I've just watched little clips where he's like, he only puts in like a 30-second shift and then he fucking glides off to the bench to get off.
yeah.
Not hustling to get off the bench to get the next guy on. He's just fucking coasting, wasting extra 2 seconds basically until the next player can get
Yeah.
on. Like,
And
you can't have that.
no, and full credit, he didn't really do that last year. Last year he was buying into the system for whatever reason. This year it doesn't seem like it seems like he's back to how he was, and
Yeah, 100,
I'm
100%.
and it does make you wonder with him taking that break, right? And the fact they're not talking about it, and the fact that he really said nothing, to thank the club or the organization or anything like that, right? And I mean, you don't have to, but there's you,
It's true. It's true because like the club definitely did make some statements how they're like fully supporting him. They're right behind him. Yeah, you're right. On his return, should be like, like, oh, I just want to like, thank the fans because like he was getting fucking chants when he wasn't
yeah,
playing,
yeah,
right?
and
Like the
it's
fans were chanting. So like just a simple thank you to the fans, thank you to the management, thank you to my team. Let's go play fucking hockey. But you're right, he didn't do that.
no, no, he thanked the people close to him, and he did thank his teammates or whatever. But it wasn't. I don't know. It's one of those. It's not necessarily what you're saying, but it's what you're not saying.
100%, man.
And I hate it because I like JT Miller. I like JT Miller a lot. I don't like even having this conversation, right? Like I don't want this to be a conversation. I hate it.
Me too. Yeah.
But what do you do, right? This is what's
Well,
going on, and it's
you
fucked because they're still like they're
can't
in a
fucking.
playoff position, right? They're not
Mhm.
they're not a terrible team. They're just not like a lights out team, right? They're not they're
No,
not they're
they're
not
playing 500. They're playing 500 right now, which is not sustainable for the rest of the season, though.
yeah, you have to do better than that. You need to have a couple weeks where you're the best team in the league or you have the best record in the league, right? Like you've got to be able to do that at some point throughout the season. Preferably more than a couple times, right? And that ensures you're gonna make the playoffs, and then possibly are you a contender from there? I do think the team's better built for the playoff tournament than the regular season, but you got to make it.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. Like, I agree. Like yeah. I mean, it's good. It's one thing to be good during the regular season, but like you need to be able to step it up in the off season. And I mean, like I feel like last season in the off season, given the adversity they faced with like Demko being out, Besser got hurt there in the playoffs. Was it Besser?
Yep. Yeah, you had the blood clots.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. The fucking blood clots. Um, and then like fuck, who else? We ended up losing to Smith, which then Shilovs came and played like a boss.
Yep.
But he needs a little improvement, as we've talked about before.
Yep.
And they still found a way to be competitive. Whereas like this year, I feel like if they make the playoffs, I don't know. Like I just don't have that confidence level.
Yeah. And you can't tell me Ian Cole's the difference. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I like Ian
no,
Cole,
not at all.
but like you can't tell me he's the
Yeah.
difference, right? Like
Oh yeah, he's blocking shots, but he doesn't do fuck all else.
yeah.
So, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's strange, man. And it's like I've been saying, they're the Heckle and Jide, Heckle and Jide,
Heckle and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and
Jesus.
Hyde.
All right.
Have another shot. Have another shot, Rosie. I'll drink to that, buddy.
Yeah, fuck it. Cheers, man. Merry
Mm.
Christmas.
Fuck. Merry Christmas. Yeah, no. It's been very very polarizing how the team can sometimes just come out and play a fucking lights out game, great offense, great defense, and then like, hey, we forgot how to pass. You
Yeah.
know, like it's fucking weird.
Yeah,
Like
like they're
yeah, like
just
it kind of like
panicking all over the ice. They're not skating, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like, who
like
is
last
this?
game, like even last game, the miscue between fucking like that led to the empty net between like Miller and Lankinen. Like, what the fuck happened there? Like, it was just like Miller's classic. Like, I feel like he was yelling at him to go, and then all of a sudden Miller's like, "Wait, fuck, don't go yet!" And then they were able to like get it up the ice, but then like rather than passing to like the three or four fucking guys on the left side of the rink, passes it to the one guy that's covered by two dudes, and then oh boom, empty net, game over. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. And
It was weird. Yeah.
I heard there was a apparently Tocchet didn't want Lankinen to come out yet because Hughes wasn't on the ice.
But Miller made that call.
I guess, yeah, Miller was doing Miller things, right? Again, that's where I hate it. I hate that this is a conversation.
Yeah,
Miller
no,
needs to
I
check
know.
himself.
He does. He needs to fucking check his ego at the door and play like you know he can play. Because like at the end of the day, he is a good fucking hockey player.
Yeah,
Like it's not that he's like oh he's making these dumb mistakes and he's not that good and like we should let him go. It's like no, he had a fucking 100-point season last year.
yeah,
Ooh, pardon me. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
It out.
They have to, right? It's yeah. If they don't, I think there's going to be changes. You know, there's going to be big changes, and I don't think Rutherford or Alvin will be patient. You know what I mean?
No, no, 100%. And like that's I was actually gonna say that. Like I feel with the management staff that we have right now, they not that they're like trigger happy, but they're not gonna just like stand around for shit. Like I mean, example, like Buffalo here. Absolute fucking dumpster tire fire right now. Like they're just not they have a pretty good squad on paper, but like you know, this something's not fucking clicking, right? I mean, they've there was like you know rumors of like making some changes and shit like that, and then like management recently comes out and makes a statement like, nah, we're gonna just stay the course.
Yeah.
You know, it's like what the fuck? Like you literally lost like 11 straight games, and you guys are like, yeah, no, we're gonna stick to the formula here, stick with the plan. So, anyways, long story short is like you're right. Like I think like Rutherford and Ali in there, they're if things aren't going right, they're gonna make some moves. And like I don't, you know, it's kind of like you kind of put the onus on the coach when there is like a rift in the locker room. Like, hey, you got to be able to be the guy that can tell them to like get their heads out of their asses and just play hockey. And you know, but I don't think Tocchet's the first one on the chopping block. I think, like you said, it's gonna be like we were discussing. It's gonna be like a player trade or something.
Yep.
I don't know.
I don't see them moving Tocchet. Tocchet's their guy, right? And
I agree.
it's part of the whole system that they've brought out, right? Like it's Tocchet hockey and they play Tocchet hockey in Abbotsford, right? Like it's a whole system that they've built. It's impressive what they've done in a short amount of time. But I don't see Tocchet going anywhere. I don't think he's the problem, right? It's personnel. If it's attitudes in the room, like it sucks. And I feel bad for Quinn too, right? Like, it's a shitty thing to have to deal with, you know, because it's part of it's his problem too, right? And unfortunately, to try and you know, you got to get these guys to figure their shit out. But if you've got a guy that's old, you know, and again, this is just the way it seems to me. You got a guy like Miller that's older than you, and he doesn't want to. Like, what do you do with that? There's only so much you can do, right? Because again, he's a grown ass man. Like, you know, I don't know. So, I got a question for you. We talked about it a little bit over the week, but say they figure this shit out, right? They figure this shit out, and they start going good. Come February, do you trade Lankinen? Do you look at his stock with how he's performing this year? It's a 1-year contract. It's dirt cheap. It ends. He's gonna get paid next year, right? Like he's gonna get paid. He's probably not gonna get paid from Vancouver, right? So, do you move him to get something like a top four defenseman, to have a goalie that's in the top 10. He's got three. He's tied for the league in leading in shutouts. He's playing awesome. He's proven now that he can be a starter. So
I like where you're. I like where you're going with this, because you're right. He has value now. We're not going to have to give up prospects or picks in order to like get a guy, but he doesn't like really give up much for salary cap space. So you'd have to try and package deal him essentially, right?
yeah, you'd have to add a Desharnais or a Hoaglander or something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to literally mention both of those names. So like, yeah, I honestly think you do.
But also just
hold on.
Okay.
With the stipulation that Demko can stay healthy. If there's any fucking shadow of a doubt that Demko might have a setback, or he needs somebody that's competent to load share, no, not at all. If you want to try and make a cup run, because I mean that's every team's ultimate fucking goal. Nobody's out there playing a season of hockey being like, oh sure, I sure hope I get fucking 6 this year. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, don't talk down on the San Jose Sharks.
but you know what I mean, though, right? Like it's like every team is aspiring to win a Stanley Cup. Like every fucking player aspires to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So, if there's any inkling that like he's not going to be able to do like 80% workload, then no, I say you keep Lankinen for the $750,000 he is this year. If you think that you have a good chance at making a playoff run. If you think that maybe we're not going to have a good chance at making a playoff run, and we should sell high on this guy, then fucking absolutely, I agree. Like just package him up, try and get somebody decent. You're not losing draft picks. Not that we have too many to fucking give up anyways, but like.
To me, I don't think it has to do with the playoff run or not. I mean, I think that's a factor, but I think the point is whether or not you're comfortable that Demko's healthy. Because I think part of what you take back, part of what you take back is most likely a goaltender. Because I don't think you want to pull Steve Loves up this year, so likely you're getting back a backup goalie in return.
That's fair, yeah.
Obviously, but like an actual backup, not like could be a starter, but a backup goalie, someone like DeSmith, right? Not to say that it'd be him, but
no, I agree. Or fucking honestly, with New York having a bit of a struggle here. Do they have any defensemen to pick up from? But I was gonna say like a Quick would even be nice. Like
they already traded.
Goalie.
They already traded Trouba, so it wouldn't be him. If you're getting anybody off of New York, you're getting a forward, right? But they already traded Capo Caco as well. Chochek maybe.
Yeah. But anyways, like, to make it like a parallel, but like a fucking Quick would be great. A little more of a veteran backup. We've kind of had bad luck with that, I guess, between like, who did we have there? We had Halak at one point, and who the fuck am I thinking?
I mean, we did okay when we picked up Miller there for the few years where he was kind of past his prime, right? He was okay.
Holtby is who I was thinking.
Oh,
Holtby he had an excellent run with Washington there when he was obviously younger, but like. Yeah, like he definitely didn't aspire to be much. But anyways, long story short, yeah, you're right. That would make sense. You can trade to a team that has a decent backup that you would feel comfortable maybe doing not a full 50-50 split, but being able to take more than a typical backup load, I guess.
Yeah. No, not even. Because again, you don't need unless you think that you've got reason to believe that Demko's not going to continue to be healthy. Right? Like, I think you have to expect that he's going to, because you're not going to keep Lankinen, right? And the thing is, if you can move him for a top 4 defenseman that's in, say, the 27, 28 year, like, he's reaching his prime, sort of in those mid-20s, and you could probably get, I would think, there's a chance because again, you got to remember, Lankinen's a free, like, he's entering free agency. If the team gets him, they could lock him up long term. He's young enough, like he's a prime target. Like he is peak value, And
Yeah. No, I agree. Like if they're
I think you
yeah,
could you could get like a top four defenseman in that 25 to 28 year range. He might have some, maybe with 3 or 4 years on his contract, a proven guy. Like that's a for and for something that you signed for basically nothing in the offseason. Like that's a savvy move, and that's a move I could see this franchise doing.
yeah, no, that makes sense. Like
And it's one of
definitely
those
like
things. Like I think another top four defenseman helps the team significantly going into the playoffs too. Like they needed it last year, and they
oh, we
definitely need
fucking
it this year.
yeah, yeah, desperately. Like I mean, yeah, I mean,
And something
eh, it,
I was gonna mention is you got to remember they've been accruing cap space too. So as you get on into January, February, you might not have to package a Hoaglander or a Desharnais to move cap either, right? If you're getting a guy that's in the $3 million range, the $4 million range, they
yeah,
between
but who
Lank and
you got
it's
in mind though?
to me again. I What I was telling you, I think Jalen Chatfield. I think he's perfect. I think he's a perfect fit for what the Canucks need. A right-handed defenseman. He's a defensive defenseman, but he can move the puck well, and he's solid. Right?
Yeah,
He can
yeah,
play.
no,
He can play those minutes. I think he'd be a great fit for the team.
because when's Veronic back here?
Don't know. It was what, six
You
to
know,
8 weeks, something like that.
yeah, he's been gone for what? I feel like it's
3.
been a month at least. Three, so he's about halfway ish there. So yeah, I mean, so is he on long term IR? Are we helping accrue cap space through him as well?
They did. Yep. Yeah, they put him out for 8 weeks at the beginning of December, so he's back in February.
Okay, yeah. So okay, I mean, it's kind of funny how that works. Eh? It's like, oh no, shit, we lost, like one of our good defensemen, but if we can stay alive, we're gonna benefit from this.
Well, it's a bit of a gain. Yeah, I think they put him on LTIR to be out that long. I'm sure they did. But it's not just that, right? It's the moves that they've done with the players. They made sure they were under there to accrue cap space. So, like, they're going to have cap space. So, I don't know, man. I think the availability is there. And I think with the way Lankin has been playing, I think it's a smart move. I think it's a savvy move. You try and get a goalie back into your system, one that's, you know, if the one that you like. You got your scouts have a good deal on or whatever, right? And I don't know who the team is. I don't know what the deal is, right? But I
Yeah,
think there's
no,
enough teams out there looking for a goalie that one of them is probably willing to pay a price, you know?
yeah. I mean, like, not that they really have anybody to offer, but like, had uh had the Avs not gone for Blackwood there, that could have been a potential target, right? Like, but they already made their move. I don't know who you grabbed from them though. They don't really have too much besides Taves and Makar, which neither of those guys are moving.
No.
Yeah, no, I like the prospect of it for sure, but like yeah, it's yeah, let them cook. Let them cook and see what happens. Like I don't know, like in general, like even with all this bullshit that's happening, I still have like very high aspirations for the Canucks this season and going forward. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there was such a doom and gloom period there after like what was it like fucking 2012 where it's just like all right, let's see how bad we can be again and like, and then in the off season comes, oh, hopefully we do something and then like barely make any moves. Yeah, like with the staff we have now, like they're like I said, they're not afraid to go out on a limb and like fucking trade an asset that's playing well for us to try and help secure the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe a team like Philly. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. Goalies are such fucking interesting creatures. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like like Lankinen, like sure he didn't ever get the chance to play in Nashville because of Saros, but like I don't know, I'd have to go back and look at his like records when he did play for those teams, but I don't think he ever played as well as he is with the Canucks right now.
His underlying
Like granted
stats
he's
were very good.
were they okay? Yeah, I haven't looked far enough into it, but like yeah, no, you're right. Like teams that are kind of have like a mid goalie that they're just like, oh well, fuck, maybe we can try and replace him. Again, like yeah, you'd have to do some scouting, look at which teams have contracts or goalies on expiring contracts, or like yeah, there's
Yeah,
I'm sure there's
I
a, I'm
think
sure I'm sure
I
there's
think
a fit. I'm sure there's a fit.
Carolina's a team, and like I said, I think Jalen Chatfield could be a good tip, good one. Here's
I
another one,
mean,
a
I
dark
mean,
horse, Toronto for Tanev.
yeah, but like, does Tanev bring that much value back? I love Tanev. Don't get me wrong. I miss him, but like, I just don't know whether if you're trying to sell this guy high, like Tanev would just be
He's a bit on the old side. Yeah, I agree. He's not in
yeah.
that
Like I don't
sort of
even know if
mid 20s
I
range.
no, like I don't think that's a lateral. Like that's more of a lateral move than anything. But like I mean, Pittsburgh's been literally in the rumor mill with them, and obviously the connection with the staff there. Coming from Pittsburgh, like obviously Marcus Pettersson, he's not a right-handed defenseman, but like there's like that rumor keeps cropping up. Like it seems like a logical fit for what you're saying as well,
Yeah.
because they have no fucking goalies right now in Pittsburgh. So like if you could have some good return from him, maybe we bring on Ricard Raquel as well. Just fucking have him as a little add-on.
I
Or
still
fuck,
think I still think if you're getting a defenseman out of Pittsburgh, I like Chris Letang personally.
I know, but he's fucking expensive, dude.
Yeah, we get
Like
him to
they would have to,
retain.
they would,
They'd have to retain.
yeah,
It's. I think that's like
exactly. That's what I mean.
that's you don't even start that conversation without that. But
Without the retainer, yeah, no,
yeah,
I agree.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think Toronto could possibly. I don't know what else they really have that they could offer. They don't exactly have the deepest defense. Vegas, I probably not. Okay,
I
Washington,
mean, they, I mean,
but
Vegas, yeah, Vegas, Aiden Hill, he's playing well, so they have no, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, how about this? Let's curb the conversation here because I feel like we're just rambling at this point,
yeah.
which is, I guess, the whole point of this. But like, uh, I'm gonna do a little research and I'm gonna come back with some things that I think of.
All
How
right,
about
all right.
that? All right.
Yeah, we'll come back to it in the next one. Sure, because I think
Should we wrap?
yeah.
Should we
Let's
wrap it up here,
yeah.
or
Why
you got
not? We've
something else
probably
you want to talk about?
no, not really. I think you're right. We're just rambling on at this point. So yeah, we can wrap it up. We've done our
Okay.
predictions. We talked about the last week. We've beat the Miller horse and
Yeah,
the Pettersson horse.
let's have in Polish they call it rozchodniaka, which is like one for the road here.
All right,
Roads. Let's have a shot for the road.
sounds good. Well, again, once again, Merry Christmas, Dan.
Merry Christmas. Hope to see you soon in the new year, my friend.
You too, buddy. All right, and for anyone listening, put what you think in the comments, and don't forget to give us a like, thumbs up. All right, Dan.
Hey, dude. Talk to you later.
Yep.